Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. And in this video, I actually have a lot to talk about, even though it does not seem like it because, the market is still going sideways. I actually have a lot to say. And of course, in this Cardano video, I will talk about Cardano first, and then I will talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum because both of these things are doing something extremely important right now. So let's see what's happening with Cardano first, and as you can see, Cardano got below the 200-day moving average right here, and then it got back above it for like the 8th time in a row. So I think it's safe to say that maybe we could, come to the conclusion that the low is already in because we are still in this uptrend. And I got rid of the other trend line because, it was not really the best trend line, but we still have this one right here, and we could always test it. However, if we do test it right now, I mean, even if we drop it at this moment, we would only drop to like 66 cents, so it's not a big deal anymore. And of course that would put us again below the 0.786 support level, but it would not be the end of the world. And maybe if we do something like this and then we bounce, I mean, that's still going to be good. And keep in mind, we kind of need a bounce if we want a faster cross in the bull market support band, so we'll see if it happens or not. And Cardano is still doing alright, I guess, because it's still above the 200-day moving average and it's getting very close to the bull market support band. The bull market support band right now is between 78.5 cents and 88.7 cents. So if we manage to break back above it, that would obviously be very, very good because it would mean that we are starting a fifth wave to the upside, and the fifth wave right here is expected to get above the third wave, obviously. Now keep in mind, these 5 waves will only confirm that the low right here is in. It will not confirm that we will not go down after that because we will need an ABC down, and that will be the second wave of the third wave of the third wave, and then we could start the third wave of the third wave of the third wave. And yes, I'm going to make a t-shirt once that happens. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about Cardano right now. Also, you have to remember that it got rejected by the weekly RSI right here. It got rejected by the weekly moving average. So right now, if you want to turn bullish, I mean, we kind of have to get back above it. And as you can see, we're getting closer and closer to it. So at some point we will test it. And I think if we do get back above it, that will finally trigger something like this over here. And yeah, I'm expecting that to happen soon. And maybe by the end of the month, maybe we will actually test it this time, and we'll see. I mean, as you can see here, this pattern is looking very bullish. We keep closing green wicks. They are not red wicks, so this is obviously great. And we'll see if we keep continuing going up or not. Now, in this video, I actually want to talk about Bitcoin for a second because what Bitcoin is doing is very, very important. And I talked about this yesterday, but I don't think many people understood what I was even saying because they were too preoccupied looking at Cardano and looking at the entire market, and they see the market go sideways and they're like, yeah, the bull market is over. There's no way that we are still in a bull market because Bitcoin is down like 29%. Well, actually 30%. And while I can understand where that is coming from, if you look at what happened, just a couple of years ago, I mean, not even a couple of years ago, if you look at what happened last year, for example, we also had a correction, and this is a 32% drop. So, I mean, right now what we have is only a 30% drop. And if you, zoom out and look at this was a 22% drop in August of 2023. I actually posted about this on the Discord server, so let me actually read what I wrote so it's easier to understand. So Bitcoin in August of 2023 went down 22%. I even posted a screenshot. It went down 22%, and as you can see, it went down to about $25,000. If you check this low right here, yeah, the low was at about 25k. Now let's see what happened after that. We went up like 200%, and then we had another correction, which was this correction right here. Now what happened with this correction? Well, it went down again, and this was a 32% drop. How much did it drop? Well, it dropped about 32%, like I said, and it dropped to $50,000. So this right here was 25k, this right here was 50k, and right now, as you can see, after we went up another 118% right here, we dropped to exactly almost 75k. Is this a coincidence? So like I said, 25k, 50k, 75k. It could be a coincidence, but maybe it's not. And if you look at the RSI, it does not really look like one because, as you can see here, we actually got to the exact same RSI levels that we got to right here and right here and right here, and we used it as support, and right now we are bouncing, which leads me to believe that the Bitcoin low is already in. Now, like I said, until we get back above the bull market support band, we could always get another low, of course, but maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe we should not wait for that, and maybe Bitcoin is already starting to go up, and maybe, just maybe, Bitcoin can still get to about $140,000 by the end of May, like I said on my Discord server. So here's what I'm thinking. Bitcoin bounces to $140,000 by May, it drops to $100,000 in the summer to continue this pattern, and then we continue the pump after the summer. So basically what I mean by this is we go up like about 88%, which by the way is possible because here, for example, we went up like 80% in a matter of 2 months, so it's definitely possible to do it again. We go up to like maybe $140,000, and then we have another drop during the summer, which would be a fourth wave move down. And this drop, by the way, happens every single cycle. If you look at what happened in 2021, for example, we had this drop right here. This was a 55% drop. In 2017, we had this drop right here. This was a 39% drop. And in 2013, we had this drop right here, which was an 80% drop. So every single time in the summer during a post-halving year, we have a correction like this. And if Bitcoin actually gets to about $140,000 by the end of May, then we could still have that drop, and that drop could put us at about $100,000. Now, why $100,000? Because this low right here was $25,000, this was $50,000, this was $75,000, so it would make sense for the next one to be about $100,000. And I don't know if this pattern will keep going, I don't know if we will keep doing this, but maybe we will, because if we look at what happened in 2017, for example, yes, in this cycle we had like 30% drops. However, 2017 had even more than that, and I mean, we kept going up, of course, but we did not really go up forever. It might look like it, at least on the weekly chart, but we had like multiple 30% drops during the bull market. Now, how many did we have in the post-halving year? Well, if you count this right here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrections on the way to the all-time highs. And right now in this cycle, we've only had about 3. So what I'm thinking is that we go up right now, we go up to about $140,000 to maybe $150,000 by the end of May. We have the fourth correction, and then we go up again, and at some point, maybe during October or so, we have another correction, and then in November or in December, we top, and that's the Bitcoin top, and then we go down during the bear market, of course. So I think this is how things are going to play out. Now, maybe I'm going to be wrong about this, but I don't think I will. But who knows? I mean, like I said, until Bitcoin gets back above the bull market support band, I cannot confirm that the low is in. However, Bitcoin is showing some strength right now. It's almost at the bull market support band, and as you can see, it's also above the 200-day moving average. And of course, it got above it right here as well. And as you can see, we did not really manage to break above these highs, at least not yet, but we are at these highs. And this leads me to believe that we will finally, at least test the bull market support band. And like I said in my previous couple of videos, if we get back above it, I think that will trigger the altcoin season, because Bitcoin dominance is at 60% right now. And if you look at what happened in the previous couple of cycles, also Bitcoin dominance is going sideways, by the way. It has been going sideways for about 2 months, and this is exactly what happened in the previous cycle. Here it went sideways in February and in March, and then at the end of March, when everybody was, starting to turn bearish on the altcoins because Bitcoin dominance was at these insane highs, that's when the altcoin season happened, and that's when Bitcoin dominance dropped from like 62% or so all the way down to like 39% in a matter of 2 months. So I think something like this could definitely happen again, especially if Bitcoin gets that pump to about $140,000, and especially if Ethereum finally starts outperforming Bitcoin. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Well, it could be possible, because Ethereum actually got to the 0.618 support level of its fourth wave move down, so the low could be in. I mean, this is an ABC down, so we could be looking at a very huge Ethereum pump very, very soon. And if that happens, I think that will finally trigger the altcoin season, and I've been talking about the altcoin season for months now, I know, but the altcoins are ready. If you look at any other altcoins, all of them are in the support zone. ICP, for example, is below the 0.618 support level. XRP is just doing XRP things. However, keep in mind, XRP had a cross right here, so I think it will drop very, very soon, but don't count me on that. And Doge as well, it's exactly at the 0.618. AVAX, I think it's almost below the 0.618. Actually, it's below the 0.618. HBAR also got a correction. I mean, every single altcoin in the market got a correction, and as you know from what happened in the past, I mean, each time we get a correction like this, we get a bounce afterwards. So I think it's very possible that Cardano and the other altcoins will go up very, very, aggressively in the next 2 months, like they did over here. So Cardano, of course, during this time went up on its own. It went up when Bitcoin dominance was still going sideways, and this cycle we did not do the exact same thing. So that why people are complaining about the fact that Cardano is not at all-time highs, even though at this point of the cycle exactly 4 years ago, it already broke its previous 2017 all-time highs, but it only did that because during the previous cycle, Cardano went up on its own, and in this cycle it did not. However, that's not really bearish because Cardano still has the exact same pattern that it had in the previous cycle. So this 1-2-1-2 setup, it's the exact same thing as this 1-2-1-2 setup. So we should be testing the trend line right here extremely soon. But before we do that, like I said, we still have to get back above the 0.618 resistance level of the previous all-time high. And as you can see in the previous cycle, after we got above that, that pretty much triggered the altcoin season, and we went from like 25 cents all the way up to like $2.50 in a matter of like 1 month or so, maybe 2 months. So it's definitely possible that we do the exact same thing again. Also, if you look at the monthly RSI, and if you look at what happened in the previous cycle here, exactly when we were doing this 1-2-1-2 setup, after we got this 1-2 setup, we actually reacted to the moving average on the RSI, and after we did that, like we did right here by the way, after we did that, that triggered the altcoin season, and then we went to all-time highs. And what did we do right now? Like I said, we used this as support, and right now we seem to be bouncing, so I'm not going to say that the cycle is going to repeat itself because you never know, but at this point, I mean, maybe it will just repeat itself because it's the exact same pattern, and I think Cardano can finally get to like $5 by the end of May. Now, of course, that's a bullish prediction, and maybe in this cycle, Cardano will only get to the 200% extension of the first wave right here, and that would be enough for the third wave, obviously. However, if you look at what happened in the previous cycle, and by the way, if we do copy what happened in the previous cycle, then in this cycle, we could theoretically see the third wave even top above the $5.30 level, because that's the 1.618 extension of the previous all-time high, and that's exactly where the third wave in the previous cycle went to. It got to be 1.618 of the previous 2017 all-time high. Now, like I said, I don't know if we will do this exact same thing, but who knows, and even if we don't, I mean, the main target right now is $3, and obviously if we get above $3.10 and break the previous all-time high very soon, I think the road to $5 is going to be very fast, because there's going to be no resistance here until we get to the 1.618. So we'll see what Cardano does in the next couple of months. I'm pretty much starting to turn bullish right now because I think the market is finally ready to do something extremely good, and I know people are fearful, but don't forget, I mean, people, when they are fearful, you should be greedy, and when they are greedy, you should be fearful, and I've taught you this lesson multiple times, so please don't forget it. And that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.